Hi, Scott here. Hope you're having a great day. So we've had some interesting stuff happening in the markets this week. It's finally settling down after the big news on Tuesday in the US. So let's get into the charts. We've got a few things that are looking pretty good today. We'll see how we go. I'll go through my usual trade analysis. We're doing the 28 Forex majors. Ones that I follow. Just kill my camera. Okay. So we can see from here, we've got the similar kind of trades we've been watching for most this week. Except the US dollar has sort of made its move and not doing much now, but we've got lots of yens that are possibly setting up. We've got a good strength in the yen now that's showing up in all the dailies. We've had some good pullbacks like we were expecting. They've been quite hard to actually jump on those as trades, but there's always opportunity. So Aussie yen, again, we've got this strong resistance line here that's hit that, bounced back for the last couple of days. So we're looking for something on the lower time frames where we can get in a trade. So we go to the lower time frames. We'll concentrate on the 1 hour. That's where most of the analysis can be done. So what do we have? We had a break of the 1 hour 50, a break of the trend line first, went short, break of it, retest the trend line, break of the 1 hour 50, never really came back to test it, unfortunately, so we couldn't get an entry in there. Then broke down below the 4 hour 50, there's a blue line, and then straight to the daily 20. So it's already hit the daily 20 and has yet managed to pull back as of yet. So you do have fibs from these highs. Ignore this spike here, which is only it's less than a minute, I think. This big spike on the news event on Tuesday for the dollar. Ignore that. So go from these highs down to the lows. That actually lines up perfectly with the 4 hour 50 and where the 1 hour 50 will be pretty soon. So there's a good opportunity there, perhaps, to get in for a short trade. Now we've got 1.3%-ish down to the daily 20 again, or we can push it further. Let's go back to the daily. Can we push it further? Well, we've got on the weekly, we have MACDs for the last few months. MACD divergence. It's been overbought for the last few months and it's still overbought. So the weekly is definitely suggesting it can go down a fair way from here. On the daily, MACD divergence from back here, we've got a higher high and it's a lower high over here. Not quite so clear, but it's definitely been overbought, pulling back. So there's room for more to the downside, it seems. So based on that, we'll try that down to the daily 50, which is this green line here on the hourly chart, this one here, and the daily 20 is this red line. And that'll be a nice trade if that worked out. So hopefully we get a pullback because it hasn't wanted to pull back so far. But we'll watch that one for today. That could happen anytime soon. CAD yen, similar kind of story. Finally topped out and broke down. So a similar idea here. Look at the lower time frame, and we've got this trend line's been broken. We've got progressively lower lows and now we've got a lower high. So we're looking for some kind of pullback. It's already broken the 1 hour 50, never pulled back to give us an entry. Now broken the 4 hour 50, but not giving us a nice break and retest of the 4 hour 50. We've sort of pulled back pretty quickly. Looks like there's a gap on the hourly, but if you actually go to the 4 hour chart, this one here, you can see the gap was just one candle, one small gap on one candle. So that's not going to be a great trade. Also, the fibs don't line up. Maybe they do if we do the fib from this low here, this high here, which is the on the 4 hour. We're still a bit higher by the 4 hour 50, so it's not ideal. So what I'm hoping for here is either a breakdown and a pull back to the 4 hour 50 and let the 1 hour 50 catch up and then get a nice short trade, or maybe even before that happens, we get a pullback to the 1 hour 50 now. So which means we've got a complex pullback here. Back to the 4 hour 50, pulls a little bit lower, then back to the 1 hour 50. If that happens, we get an IBOC, initial breakout to C, because we've already reached the 4 hour 50. Looking at the fibs here, it's like a very long wave 1. Complex pullback for wave 2. We could get a long wave 3, etc. So there's a good chance of a decent pullback there. So I'm looking for it to pull back to the 1 hour 50 in the not too distant future, maybe in the next 4 to 6 hours when the UK opens, or like I said, either break down and then pull back for a CBO, retest the 4 hour 50 for a different sort of trade, CBO. But there we go, keep an eye on that 1 KGN, that's looking pretty good. Swiss yen, I was hoping to get in last night. I put an entry order in, but it never pulled back. So we've got this on the daily, we've got this really overextended run. We've finally got a red candle, a decent red candle. Although we had this simulation a few days ago, but it continued higher. Now we've got a breakdown. So we need something on the lower time frames to really convince us that we've got a short trade on. And we have that. So we have this trend line here, which it broke, retested again, and then broke down. Broke down below the 1 hour 50, nice break. I was hoping last night we'd get a pull back up to the 1 hour 50 to give a nice short trade. Didn't happen, but it's still hanging around here. So the next few hours it could pull back. We've got the fibs from the top to the bottom. There's not really much choice there. It's only fibs that make sense. If it pulls back in not too distant future, then we will have pull back to the fib 382 and the 1 hour 50 and give us a short trade. Now it's okay, so it's pretty good to the 4 hour 50. Depending on your trade management, you could even take it a lot lower because we've had a monster run on this. So this could easily pull back to the daily 20 and even the daily 50. So we've had a very strong level here, which is broken out, which it broke above a week or so ago. And then it could well come back and retest that if it's going to keep on going up. Retest that first. So there's a chance it'll even go to the daily 50. And these are right down here. So huge potential. Even if we just get a trade to the 4 hour 50, then wait for the 4 hour 50 to break, and then get a trade down to 30.20. There's opportunity there, so we'll see how that plays out. Euro yen. So all these first 4 have all been yen pairs. Again, overextended. MACDs, we've been through this in the last few days. We've now got some really good bearish pressure happening. I've done the 382 retracement on here to see if it actually reached the 382. If you take this as the wave 3 starting from here, maybe it is, maybe it's this one. Then we're not there, so we've got plenty of room to the downside. Again, we didn't get a pullback last night. Let's hit the 4 hour 50. So if it does pull back now to the 1 hour 50, here's the 382 on the fib. It's kind of lining up quite well. So if the next few hours that pulls back, that could give us a short trade there, trading through the 4 hour 50, so an IBOC, and down to 30.20 with a fair price target. Depending on your trade management, you might be trailing your stop behind the highs. on a lower time frame, perhaps, or the 1 hour 50 on the 1 hour time frame, or even the 15-minute or the 5-minute, depending on your trading strategy. Okay, so that's euro yen. Now let's get something different. Got £3 here. So the pound has been gaining some strength, trying to. Well, it has been gaining strength, but it's been a bit sporadic. So here we have got a MACD here, lower lows, got a higher low on the MACD. So it's a MACD divergence. We've got RSI really oversold, just pulling out from that now. So there's potentially more upside here. So what do we have? We've had break of the 1 hour 50, the news event a couple of days ago made it go back down below the 1 hour 50. Now it's gone back up again through it. The 4 hour 50 is this blue line, so we've had a break of that as well. So we've now got a good retest, a CBO, break and retest of both the 1 hour 50 and the 4 hour 50. So the fibs line up quite well from these lows down here, lows here. To the highs. This is we're in the Asia session. I'm recording this, so the pound CAD probably won't be setting up until the UK opens in 5, 6, 7 hours from now. It gives it time to mess around a bit, then pull back and give a nice entry. So it's worth keeping an eye on that one. Got my alert set there. I expect it will break through the 1 hour 50, just take the 4 hour 50, and then we'll go long. And the price target here would be the daily 50, which isn't too far away. There's a nice profit to be made if it goes up there. Okay, so pound CAD, that's a nice looking one. Keep an eye on that. Pound Swiss. Similar, but we've had overextended to the downside. We are at all-time lows, so there's no real nice support resistance lines. We've got MACD divergence for quite a while now, and the RSI has been very oversold as well. So it's looking like we want to go up. We got a bullish candle yesterday. That's not enough to convince me, but the lower time frames might help. So what do we have? This is the 1 hour. So you've got some nice long trend line. This is a nice long trend line here, which was broken a while ago. It's been going sideways. The news thing on Tuesday made it drop quite dramatically, and now it's recovering. So the trend line here is nothing really great, but it seems to be working. It's sort of pushed its way through, came back and retested it this morning. So we've got break of both those trend lines, a break of the 1 hour 50. It looks like the tide has turned. We're going to get some bullish strength now. So we can have a trade in here. Again, this is pound Swiss, so now is not the right time for that to set up particularly. It's probably going to happen in a few hours. So we've got to keep an eye on it. It's already hit the 4 hour 50, sorry, the 1 hour 50. And we have to see what happens. Is it going to pull up and then back again to give another entry in a few hours? Or is it just going to hang around here and then blast off? We have to keep an eye on that one and see what happens. It's not an ideal setup for this time of day. Pound yen. So we've got the pound, we've got the yen. There we go. Nice looking, hitting this level here. Very strong level. You could probably say that level was actually these wicks, these bodies, this wick. There's a major level there somewhere. It's bounced off of that. It's already reached a 382. If we thought it was going to keep on going up, then we might be very cautious trading below that, trading short below that 382. But this has been trading in a range, up, down, then kind of in a triangle, break up. So this could well break lower than it is already. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Looks pretty good. We had this big trend line here, not a great trend line, but it was clearly broken, retested. Break of the 1 hour 50. We never really got a pullback. To the 1 hour 50. It's hit the 4 hour 50 now. It's been banging around the 4 hour 50. So the fibs don't really line up that well. Probably take this fib down here somewhere, because that massive spike was the news earlier this week. So if we ignore that, we can probably go down here somewhere. Now the fib lines up better, so it makes more sense. Pulls back there to 382. 1 hour 50 will be there as well. Pound yen, so it's Asia, the yen's an Asian currency, so that could well set up anytime from now to the end of the day. So IBOC again, because we're trading through the 4 hour 50, nice little pullback here and that going lower. It could be a nice trade to the daily 20 or the daily 50. That's definitely one worth watching. I like that one. And that's all the ones I've got which are setting up right now. Quite a few here, which I'll quickly whiz through, which I like, but we're waiting for some kind of confirmation that that's going to happen. So Aussie Kiwi, been waiting for this to go short for a while. It's kind of not playing the game. But we got some Kiwi news this morning, and that caused this big spike down, and that could well Kiwi, what was it? GDP, increase in GDP above forecast, so that could give the Kiwi some strength. We've got a lower high here. We've got to break this trend line there, which is broken and retested. So break of the 1 hour 50, that could be a trade setting up maybe later today. See how that goes, and as we can see from the daily, this is very overextended. MACD for quite a while, from right back here. So that could well be coming down a fair way from there. Let's go to CAD Swiss. Okay, level down here, it's reached these lows, bouncing up. Maybe we've got a long trade on there. So we've got a trend line here that's broken and retested, and then wait for 1 hour 50 now to break, and we can get an IBO break and retest of the 1 hour 50 and the 382 to line up. Could give us a nice trade to the 4 hour 50. That's quite a nice looking potential. Euro Swiss, similar thing. We've got a low here. Let's hit this low here. So we've got a double bottom on the daily. Looking for a long trade there. Got deceleration from yesterday, and the 1 hour shows us this trend line broken a few times falsely, and then breaking back below it, retesting, breaking through, back down and retesting again. So that's clearly broken it. But this trend line here, which is not the best trend line, but it looks like there's something going on there maybe. Oh yeah, that makes sense. So anyway, get a break through that trend line and then break through the 1 hour 50, break and retest, IBO long. That could be a nice trade coming up maybe later today or early tomorrow. Euro pound. Pound's been gaining strength. So the euro pound is finding some bearish pressure there. Nice red candle yesterday. Potential to go down lower. Right, so we've had this trend line break, 1 hour 50 break. Didn't really pull back, hasn't pulled back yet to the 1 hour 50. Maybe it will soon. Euro pound, so it probably won't have for another 6 hours. It's off the 1 hour 50 to catch up maybe. So if you put the fib up to the top here, it's really a bit too high. So we've got to play with that a bit, see what happens with the price action. That could be a nice short trade down to the daily 20. So it's worth keeping an eye on. Pound USD. So another USD settled down after the news. It's kind of not done much yesterday. All the dollar ones have been pretty much stagnant yesterday. So we're looking for an up. And so here's the news event. Took it down, 1 hour 50's resistance and the 4 hour 50. So it breaks up above that. If I was getting an alert if it comes on here, break and retest, it could be a long trade going in there. Keep it CAD. Again, we've got lots of deceleration around here. Double bottom MACD, very strong MACD for quite a while. Some kind of proof that we've got a changing trend, and we keep getting these breaks of trend lines. Nothing really, it's a bit of a messy chart. But we've got higher lows. That high there's been broken, so we've got higher highs, higher lows. Trend change for the short term. Break off the 1 hour 50 pullback. Could be long trades at 4 hour 50 or a little higher. Be aware of this trend line because that goes back quite a ways, and that will act as some kind of resistance when it hits it. Swiss. Lots of bearish pressure with the US dollar news, but it's pulling back. It's found its footing and it's trying to go long again. Do you have any proof? Okay, we've got this long trend line which was breaking until the news happened. Then it broke through it, and there we go. These trend lines are good. You see it break there, retested it there, and that's finally broken through it. So that trend line is broken. Hopefully we get some good price action now. Break of the 1 hour 50, pullback. Could be a nice long trade on there later today, maybe. We'll see how we go on that one. Dollar Swiss. So this one has been quite choppy, often is with dollar Swiss, both safe haven currencies. But we've had a break through the 1 hour 50, so the daily 50 here, and then a pullback to the daily 50. Nice deceleration. I like deceleration. So maybe we've got a short on. What's the higher time frames giving us? Not really very much, but it'd be nice if we got a test of the 1 hour 50, sorry, the daily 50, this green line, and the 4 hour 50 just above it, and the 1 hour 50 just above that. If we've got a test of that, nice, then a breakdown through the 1 hour 50, maybe there'll be a short trade on there. We'll just keep an eye on that one. And dollar yen, last one we look at. Again, a double top, yen's getting some strength. So we're looking for a short trade here. Sure, my arrow's gone. So we've got some trend lines going way back. This one's been broken. This one here is still acting as resistance. I've got to keep an eye on those. So I'm looking for a 4 hour 50 break. This blue line here, break and retest, take it lower. Unless we've got a break as it hangs around here for a day or two, and then we get a break of this trend line here, and then pull back to the 1 hour 50. In which case we could take that as a short trade. So that's worth keeping an eye on because of the nice high time frames. Okay, good. Camera going to work? So my camera's having a hard time again. Okay. I hope you found that interesting. I hope you found it useful. It's always good to look at these charts, trend lines, possible setups, just to give us an idea of where we think the market's going to go and what possible trades we can get from it. So I'll be back again tomorrow. So good luck in the charts. I'll speak to you soon. Take care.